Hi, this is Jeff Jamieson reporting for Archbold Rewind. In this segment, we are going to take a look at Sara's Garden, a nonprofit hyperbaric treatment center located here in Fulton County. On July 30th, Sara's Garden hosted their second annual fundraiser out at the Fulton County Fairgrounds. Coming up in the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at the events that took place that day. Events such as a poker run, a reverse raffle, auctions, and several interviews with the staff and volunteers that made this event happen. We'll hear some music from local bands that performed that day, and we will also look back at the May 1st open house at Sara's Garden and take an inside look at the Hyperbaric chamber itself. So let's get started. Where are you guys from?
Delta.
Napoleon.
All right. So you guys what are you doing here today?
Homemade ice cream, First Christian Church, and a lot of us get together and help make ice cream, but some of the same people that make it for our church are also part of Sara's Garden, and so they do it as a fundraiser here every year now.
Now 15, 17, 50, 17, 50, 56 and a half, now 20, now I go to 20, now 22, 50, 22, 50, I need 22, 50, now I have 22, 50, so $20, number 20.
I'm here with Matt Rickner, and we're going to have him talk a little bit about what happened today and the events surrounding the second annual Sara's Garden fundraiser. Matt, what happened today? Just describe the things that took place and tell us what all this went for.
We had a bunch of stuff going on today. The day started off over in Napoleon at the Harley-Davidson shop with the poker run. We had about 140 people turn out for the poker run. It was a ride through Northwest Ohio over to Weston, Bowling Green, Waterville, White House, Oak Openings area. Really beautiful ride, and came back here to the fairgrounds to finish up. We just finished up with the motorcycle raffle. We raffled off a 2005 Harley-Davidson Electra Glide, and a gentleman from Indiana ended up winning it. Had a reverse raffle style with about 750 tickets, and so we had a really good time doing that.
I'm here with Jay Burkholder, Sarah's Garden, and I'm going to have him tell a little bit about the facility and a little bit about the history of Sarah's Garden.
Like Jeff said, my name's Jay. This all got started probably after 3 years ago after my wife passed away, giving birth to my son. When she passed away, because of the birth, my son ended up with cerebral palsy. And my mom and in-laws and my dad refused to accept his condition and went out looking for alternative methods of helping him get better. And one of those methods were hyperbaric oxygen treatment, which we decided to start our own facility with the community's help, and which is called Sarah's Garden.
Very good. And hyperbaric treatment, is that a pretty common treatment? Tell us a little bit about the process and what happens during that treatment.
It's getting to be more known. There's some athletes out there that use hyperbaric oxygen treatment to help them become better athletes, like Lance Armstrong, which is a pretty known bicyclist. Terrell Owens, when he ruined his ankle last year before the Super Bowl. But it's also used for kids with cerebral palsy. It helps loosen their muscles up so they can better use their muscles. It's also used for other treatments like gangrene, stroke victims, etc., etc.
Another day is rolling by. It's the thought of you tonight. I'd like to save the time. Now it's time to let you know. You are dancing today. All of you
On May 1st, the Sarah Joy Rickner Burkholder Hyperbaric Center in Wauseon held an open house to allow the public to come in and tour their building. During the next few minutes, we're going to take a look back at the events surrounding that day. We'll hear some comments from a local family whose son is currently receiving treatments from the center, and also hear some comments from State Representative Jim Hoops. Let's take a look.
Shaffer, this is my wife Vicki, and this is my son Caleb. He's 3 years old. He has cerebral palsy. This is his second round of hyperbarics. The last treatment, the last time that we did it for him, he showed a lot more attentiveness to what was going on around him. This time, after only 4 days, which is 8 treatments, he's been saying more words than he did before, and he's doing an excellent job of reaching for stuff. If there's any chance, like in our case, where you have a child that has a lot of potential, that you're not sure how to get that potential out of him, it's surely worth the effort to try it. And if you start talking to people that have done it or that have experiences, I've never met anybody that didn't have a positive experience out of it and that didn't notice a difference of what was happening with their child.
Well, my name is Jim Hoops. I'm a state legislator representing the 75th House District, which encompasses Henry, Putnam, Paulding, Van Wert, and a little bit of Defiance. And I was invited to come and attend the open house for Sarah's Garden. And I was kind of intrigued by the invitation and wanted to come over and just see, what it was all about. I've had a chance to talk with families whose child, Caleb, from West Unity has already used the chamber, and they saw a lot of positive results from that. He has CP, and it's really been helpful. And I also talked with Judy, who's part of the ownership here, and just her testimony on how this has helped her grandchild and some of the vision that she sees and how this can help people who deal with certain diseases like CP and others. Well, one of the things we discussed a little bit and is whether or not Medicaid can help fund this type of health issues. And I think the thing that kind of intrigued me is how, if it's done now and we help, that it's going to save the state and the federal government money down the road, because these individuals will need help eventually, and if we can keep these individuals from getting worse with CP or whatever they have, that maybe in the long run, the goal is to get them as healthy as possible and be contributors to society and in life, and at the same time, save on health care costs. If anybody has some interest in this or comments, they can reach my office down in Columbus at 614-466-3760.
So what brought you here today?
The bike trip, poker run.
About how many miles did you drive today, do you know?
About 77. That's what they said anyway. But we had a guided trip, so the person in front of us knew exactly where we were going. We couldn't get lost, no problems.
Can you tell us your name and what brings you here today?
My name is Connie Kovach, and I'm here today because I work at Sara's Garden, and I volunteered to come hang out and have a good time.
So what are you doing here today?
Right now I'm selling tickets for the children's games.
And the children's games are over here?
There's children's games over here, and there's inflatable games down there.
I'm Judy Burkholder. I'm Jackson Burkholder's grandma and Jay Burkholder's mom and Sarah Burkholder's mother-in-law.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about hyperbaric treatment?
Okay, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is receiving 100% oxygen under pressure. And simply stated, under pressure, gases like oxygen dissolve more readily in the bloodstream, and this allows the bloodstream to be saturated with oxygen and carry the oxygen to areas of the body that need oxygen or have lacked oxygen. For instance, if you have a stroke or you've had cerebral palsy, you've lacked oxygen to your brain. What hyperbaric oxygen therapy does is allow oxygen to be transported around a clotted area or to areas that have been deprived of oxygen. Some of the cells will be dead, but there'll be cells there that are not functioning because they lack the oxygen. Once they receive the oxygen, they resume function.
We've also learned a little bit about this new therapy that some of the money that's being raised today will help to go to pay for and potentially pay for. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That therapy is called conductive education. Conductive education originated in Budapest, Hungary. What they do is an extensive therapy that retrains the brain to make the muscles work. So here in the United States, when you go to the Board of DD, you may get 20 minutes of therapy twice a week. With conductive education in the United States, you'll go 5 days a week and it'll be a 3-hour therapy and you will see gains.
Can you describe the process of conductive therapy and conductive education and what it does and how it's unique?
It's unique because the children in this program are doing the actual therapy themselves. If a child has their hands up in the air and their brain can't tell their hands to move down, the conductor will come up to the child and stroke under the arm this causes an impulse for the child to put their arm down. Now that child has moved that muscle by themselves. They've been motivated to do it, but they are actually doing that movement. And then we'll repeat that movement and we'll add extra movements as the child progresses. It's very intense.
In the mental heart fall before you, and the tempter must set free by you, and the death and destruction were rampant. You still shine, and you glory shine, and you raise your hand and touch your heart to the spirit land, and you bring the fire to the hungry soul.
Earlier in our program, we showed you highlights from the open house at Sara's Garden. In this next segment, we're going to take an exclusive look at the inside of the hyperbaric chamber.
As you can see in the chamber, it might look small on the outside, but it's really spacious in here. At least I think it is. It's cozy, and there's room for me to get up and walk around if I have to. There's 5 flow meters in here, so there's a potential for 5 clients to be hooked up to oxygen. The person that runs the chamber from the outside is our chamber operator, and they take us to depth, and they let us know when we've reached the appropriate depth. They can talk through the window, and we've got little cards that we use too. Once we reach depth, we take Caleb here, and we take the hoses, and we hook them up to the hood. Then I'll take these hoses, and I'll hook them up to one of our meters, which is right here. We have one vent for the exhaust, and we have one vent for the supply. And I'll go ahead and I'll turn the oxygen on, and I'll turn the exhaust open, and I'll set it for about 40 to 50 liters per minute. And we'll go ahead and we'll pop his hood on. Big boy! And he'll look like a little Buzz Lightyear. We'll spend 1 hour like this. We have TV. We have a cooling unit if it gets warm. Typically when we start the dive, it gets a little warm, so we turn the cooling unit on. And then when we come back up or decompress, it gets a little cool, but that's tolerable. The really big deal about this place is that this place is a God thing. None of Sara's Garden would be here if it weren't for the fact that we have an awesome God of the impossible. And he's the one that provided every time that we had a need here. He provided, he took over, and he just merely used us. So this place is not only to help people that need, help people that have pain and suffering, but it's a place where they can know God is here, and they can know his glory, and they can come to know who he is.
If you would like more information about Sara's Garden, you may visit their website at www.sarasgarden.org, or you may call them on the number listed on the screen. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.